Still playing in the dirt like a child, I see. My cousin Derek's voice carried across my grandmother's backyard, loud enough for the entire family reunion to hear, while I stood there in my work jeans and mud-streaked boots. Behind him, my cousin Maya laughed and added, "At least some of us graduated to real careers with offices and paychecks." What they didn't know was that the dirt I was playing in had just attracted a CNN agricultural documentary crew scheduled to arrive in exactly 15 minutes to film the sustainable farming facility that was revolutionizing American agriculture. The Henderson family reunion happened every Labor Day weekend at my grandmother's estate in rural Iowa. 75 relatives gathering for 3 days of catching up, comparing lives, and, in my case, being reminded that I was the family disappointment. I'd driven over from my property adjacent to Grandma's land, still wearing my work clothes because I'd been in the greenhouses until 10 a.m. My hands had dirt under the nails. My boots had mud caked on the soles. I probably smelled like compost and fertilizer. Perfect ammunition for Derek and Maya. "Seriously, Harper," Derek continued, gesturing with his craft beer. "You're 32 years old. When are you going to get a real job? Stop pretending to be a farmer." Derek was a management consultant in Chicago. Maya was a marketing executive in New York. They'd spent the last hour holding court about their corporate successes, their six-figure salaries, their downtown apartments. "I like farming," I said simply, accepting a lemonade from my aunt. "It's not farming, it's playing," Maya corrected. "Real farmers have massive operations. You have what, 50 acres? That's a hobby farm. A very expensive hobby that probably loses money every year." 200 acres, actually, I said. "We expanded last year." "We?" Derek laughed. "Who's we?" "You and your imaginary farm hands." Something like that. My phone buzzed. A text from my operations director. "CNN crew is 10 minutes out. Should we redirect them to the main facility or meet at your grandmother's property?" I typed back, "Redirect to main facility. I'll meet them there in 20. "Always on that phone," Maya observed. "Let me guess, Farmville? Checking your virtual crops." Several cousins laughed. I smiled and kept drinking my lemonade. "Harper's been doing this farm thing for what, 8 years now?" My Uncle Thomas said, not unkindly. "Maybe it's time to consider something more stable, sweetheart. I have a friend at an agricultural supply company. They're always looking for sales representatives. It's not glamorous, but it pays well." "I appreciate the offer," I said. "But I'm happy with what I'm doing." "Happy doesn't pay the bills," Derek said. "How do you even afford that land? Did Grandma give you money?" "I bought it myself," I said calmly. "With what?" "Farmers market proceeds." Maya smirked. "Harper, we're family. You can be honest. Are you struggling financially? Because there's no shame in asking for help." "I'm not struggling." "Then how do you support yourself?" Derek demanded. "Because unless you're selling million-dollar tomatoes, that farm isn't profitable." Before I could answer, a white van with the CNN logo pulled up the long driveway. Then another van, this one from Iowa Public Television. Then a third vehicle with Agricultural Sciences Today written on the side. The family went quiet, watching the news crews pile out with cameras and equipment. A woman in a professional blazer approached, looking at her tablet. "Excuse me, I'm looking for Dr. Harper Henderson. We're here for the scheduled interview about the Henderson Agricultural Innovation Center." Every head turned toward me. "That's me," I said, setting down my lemonade. "You're early. I wasn't expecting you for another 15 minutes. We wanted to set up early if possible." "Dr. Henderson, I'm Jennifer Walsh from CNN's agricultural documentary series. We've been trying to get this interview for 6 months. Your facility's work on sustainable farming and climate-resistant crops is groundbreaking." "Thank you. Should we head over to the main facility?" "It's just through those trees." I pointed toward my property. "Perfect. Our team is ready when you are." I turned to my stunned family. "Sorry, I have to go. Work thing. I'll be back in a few hours." "Wait," Derek said, his voice strangled. "Work thing? What work thing?" "Dr. Henderson runs the Henderson Agricultural Innovation Center," Jennifer said, consulting her notes. "One of the leading sustainable agriculture research facilities in the country. We're doing a feature on her revolutionary approach to climate-resistant crop development." "Doctor?" Maya repeated faintly. "Harper, you have a doctorate. PhD in agricultural sciences from UC Davis," I confirmed. "Finished it 7 years ago. I thought I mentioned it at the reunion that year, but everyone was busy talking about Derek's promotion." The Henderson Agricultural Innovation Center, my Uncle Thomas said slowly. I've heard of that. They partnered with Iowa State University on some research project. Several projects, I corrected. We have ongoing partnerships with Iowa State, UC Davis, Cornell, and MIT's Agricultural Technology program. A man from the Iowa Public Television crew approached. Dr. Henderson? I'm Marcus Chun. We spoke last week about the state funding announcement. The governor is very excited about the $50 million grant for expanding your climate research division. $50 million? Derek choked. The state grant, yes, I said. Combined with our federal funding and private investment, we're expanding our operations significantly over the next 3 years. My grandmother had appeared on the porch, drawn by the commotion. Harper, dear, are these people here for your work? Yes, Grandma. CNN is doing a documentary about the facility. She beamed with pride. That's wonderful. Everyone, my granddaughter is going to be on television talking about her important agricultural research. Mrs. Henderson, Jennifer said warmly, your granddaughter is being modest. She's revolutionized sustainable farming practices. The Henderson method for soil regeneration is being implemented on farms across the Midwest. Her climate-resistant wheat strain could help feed millions of people in drought-affected regions. The family was staring at me like I'd grown a second head. Harper, Maya said carefully, what exactly do you do on your farm? It's not a farm, technically, I explained. It's a research and development facility. We have 200 acres of experimental crops, 12 climate-controlled greenhouses, a genetics laboratory, a soil sciences building, and a data center that monitors crop performance across 500 partnered farms in 17 states. How many people work there? Uncle Thomas asked. Currently 73 full-time staff. 52 researchers with advanced degrees, plus support staff. We're hiring 20 more positions this fall. 73 employees? Derek's voice had gone up an octave. We're one of the largest agricultural research employers in Iowa, I said. Though most of our staff works in the labs and offices, not in the fields. The actual farming is a small part of what we do. Mostly we're developing and testing new agricultural technologies. Another vehicle pulled up, a Tesla with university plates. A woman in her 60s emerged, smiling when she saw me. Harper, I'm not late, am I? I wanted to be here for the CNN interview. Dr. Patricia Okonkwo, I said, greeting her with a hug. You're right on time. Everyone, this is Dr. Okonkwo, Dean of Agricultural Sciences at Iowa State University and my former dissertation advisor. Former advisor, current collaborator, Patricia corrected. Harper's facility has become essential to our research programs. Her innovations in sustainable farming are literally changing how we approach agriculture in the 21st century. Jennifer was checking her watch. Dr. Henderson, we should head over to start filming. We want to capture the greenhouses in this light. Of course. Let me just grab my clean boots from the truck. As I walked toward my vehicle, a crew cab pickup truck with Henderson Agricultural Innovation Center printed on the side. I heard Maya whisper to Derek, did she just say 73 employees? And $50 million in state funding, Derek whispered back. I changed into clean work boots and a Henderson Center polo shirt, then turned back to my family. Sorry to run out on the reunion. I should be back by dinner. We're just doing some filming and interviews about the drought-resistant corn we developed. The drought-resistant corn that was on the news last month? Uncle Thomas asked. That was you. Our team, yes. 3 years of development. It's showing a 40% better survival rate in low-water conditions compared to traditional strains. My grandmother was practically glowing with pride. Harper, why didn't you tell everyone what you've been doing? I tried, Grandma. At the last reunion, I mentioned we'd just secured federal funding. Derek said it sounded boring and changed the subject to talk about his new car. Derek had the grace to look ashamed. And the reunion before that, I continued. I mentioned we were building new laboratory facilities. Maya said it was cute that I was still playing with my garden. Maya was staring at her feet. I stopped trying to explain after a while, I said. It was easier to just let everyone think I was playing in the dirt. Jennifer cleared her throat politely. Dr. Henderson, we really should get started. Right. Sorry. I looked at my family. Anyone want to come see the facility? We have space in the vans. 15 relatives immediately volunteered, including Derek and Maya. The drive to the main facility was short, just through a grove of trees that separated Grandma's property from mine. As we emerged from the trees, the facility came into view. 12 massive greenhouses gleaming in the sun. A modern 3-story research building with solar panels covering the roof. Rows of experimental crops in organized plots. A parking lot full of vehicles, staff cars, university vans, agricultural equipment. "This is your hobby farm?" Derek asked weakly. "This is the Henderson Agricultural Innovation Center," I corrected. "We broke ground 8 years ago with a $5 million investment. Money I made from selling the patent on a soil amendment I developed during my doctoral research. We've grown considerably since then." We pulled up to the main building. Staff members were visible through the windows, working in laboratories and offices. A group of researchers in the field were taking soil samples. 2 graduate students were adjusting equipment in one of the greenhouses. "Current operating budget is about $47 million annually," I explained as we walked toward the building. "Funded through research grants, university partnerships, and licensing fees from our patented technologies. We hold patents on 17 different agricultural innovations: seed varieties, soil treatments, irrigation systems, crop monitoring software." 17 patents, Maya repeated numbly. "We're really proud of the crop monitoring software," I said, warming to my subject. "It uses machine learning to predict optimal harvest times and identify plant stress before it's visible to the human eye. We've licensed it to agricultural companies worldwide. That's actually our largest revenue stream, about $18 million last year in licensing fees alone." The CNN crew was setting up in our main greenhouse, a cathedral of glass and steel housing hundreds of experimental plants. Jennifer was directing her cameraman, while Dr. Okonkwo explained some of the research projects to Iowa Public Television. "Dr. Henderson, one of my research leads, approached. The USDA called. They want to expand the partnership on the climate-resistant wheat project. They're proposing an additional $12 million in funding." "That's excellent news. Schedule a call for Tuesday morning." "Already done. Also, your 2 p.m. is here, the delegation from the Gates Foundation." "Gates Foundation?" Derek asked. "As in Bill Gates?" "His Agricultural Development Foundation, yes," I said. "They're interested in our work on crops for developing nations. We're discussing a potential partnership for implementing our drought-resistant varieties in sub-Saharan Africa." Maya had pulled out her phone and was frantically Googling. "Harper, there are articles about you." "Lots of articles. Forbes, NPR, The Wall Street Journal. Why didn't you tell us?" "I did tell you. You didn't listen." "No, I mean really tell us. Make us understand." "Would you have listened?" I asked gently. "If I'd stood up at a family reunion and announced I was running a $47 million research facility, would you have believed me? Or would you have thought I was exaggerating?" She didn't answer. The CNN interview took 2 hours. Jennifer asked about my background, my research, my vision for sustainable agriculture. She filmed the greenhouses, the laboratories, the experimental fields. She interviewed my staff, Dr. Okonkwo, and several graduate students working on their dissertations at the facility. My family watched from the sidelines, silent and stunned. When the crews finally packed up, promising to send footage before the documentary aired next month, I walked my relatives back through the facility. "This building houses our genetics lab," I explained. "We're working on developing pest-resistant crop varieties that don't require chemical pesticides. Very promising results so far." "How much is this facility worth?" Uncle Thomas asked quietly. "The land, buildings, equipment, and intellectual property? We had it appraised last year at about $200 million, though that number will go up significantly when we complete the expansion." $200 million, Derek said. "You own something worth $200 million. The facility is owned by the Henderson Agricultural Innovation Foundation, a nonprofit I established," I corrected. "I'm the founder and director, but the foundation owns the assets. It's structured that way to maintain our research focus and tax-exempt status." "But you make money from it," Maya said. "The licensing fees, the patents." "I draw a salary of $180,000 as director," I said. "The rest of the revenue goes back into research and operations. Though I do own equity in 3 agricultural technology startups we've spun off from our research. Those are worth approximately $50 million combined, on paper at least." We returned to Grandma's house as the sun was setting. The family reunion had transformed into an impromptu celebration of my work. Relatives who'd barely spoken to me in years suddenly wanted to know everything about the facility, the research, the innovations. Derek approached me on the porch, holding 2 beers. Harper, I owe you an apology. A massive apology. It's fine, I said, accepting the beer. It's not fine. I called your life's work playing in the dirt. I mocked you. I assumed you were failing just because your success didn't look like mine. You weren't entirely wrong, I said. I am playing in the dirt. I just get paid really well for it, and my playing might help feed people during climate crises. Why did you let us think you were struggling? I didn't let you think anything. I told you what I was doing. You chose not to hear it because it didn't fit your definition of success. Corporate jobs, big salaries, impressive titles, that's what you understood. Agricultural research? That was just Harper's weird hobby. He winced. You're right. I'm sorry. Maya joined us, her eyes red. Harper, I'm sorry too. I was so dismissive. I thought I was better than you because I work in Manhattan and wear designer clothes. But you're literally changing the world, and I'm selling luxury handbags. Someone has to sell handbags, I said diplomatically. It's a valid career. But it's not revolutionizing agriculture and feeding people in drought zones, she said. God, I'm such an asshole. Yes, I agreed. But your family. And family gets second chances. Grandma appeared with a tray of cookies. Harper, dear, I'm so proud of you. I always knew you'd do something special. Thanks, Grandma. Though I do wish you'd told everyone sooner. I've been bragging about you to my bridge club for years, but the family never believed me. They believe you now, I said, smiling. The next morning, at the farewell breakfast, Uncle Thomas stood up to make an announcement. I think we all learned something this weekend, he said. We learned that success looks different for different people. We learned that we should listen when family members talk about their work instead of dismissing them. And we learned that our cousin Harper, who we thought was playing in the dirt, is actually one of the most accomplished people in this family. Here, here, several relatives called out. So I propose a toast, Uncle Thomas continued. To Dr. Harper Henderson, agricultural innovator, research pioneer, and the person we should have been listening to all along. To Harper. To Harper, everyone echoed. I raised my juice glass, smiling at my family. They'd finally heard me. Finally saw what I'd been building all along. Sometimes people need proof before they'll believe. They need CNN cameras and university partnerships and $200 million valuations. Words aren't enough. But once they see it, once they understand, they can't unsee it. Derek and Maya drove back to their cities that afternoon. But before they left, Derek pulled me aside. Harper, I want to invest in one of your startups. The agricultural technology companies you mentioned. I have money saved up. I'd like to be part of what you're building. I'll send you the information, I said. But Derek, invest because you believe in the technology, not because you feel guilty. I believe in you, he said simply. I should have believed in you all along. After everyone left, I walked back through the trees to my facility. My staff was preparing for the week ahead, new experiments, ongoing projects, graduate students returning from the holiday weekend. This was my real life. Not family reunions and awkward explanations, but greenhouses and laboratories, research and innovation, work that mattered. The dirt under my fingernails, the mud on my boots, the smell of compost and growing things, that was success. It had taken my family years to see it, but I'd known it all along. And that, I'd learned, was enough.